Hello, I'm David Rose, and thanks for joining me now for a look at this week's Washington's Most Wanted cases in partnership with Crime Stoppers statewide. Starting with surveillance video of a suspect stealing guns from a business in Kirkland. Police are asking for your help to identify this man. He's seen carrying several long boxes on his shoulder. This is video as he left Optimum Performance Motorsports in the Totem Lake area in Kirkland. Inside those boxes are handguns and rifles. Detectives say he broke in around 4:40 a.m. on Easter Sunday, April 4th.
The owner is a business owner of a motorbike parts and accessory store, and he also holds a federal firearms license as well, which means that he's able to legally transfer ownership of firearms for private citizens and people as such. And so ultimately, we believe that the suspect may have known this, may have known that there were firearms inside the building at that time that were being stored and locked away in the back room. And that suspect was able to come in. That's all he really took. That's all he was really looking for, it appears by the video. He didn't take any other of the electronics or any of the motorbike parts and pieces or anything like that. He was solely intent on stealing the firearms. The shop owner did everything he was supposed to do. The firearms were locked and secured in the private business.
Well, detectives say the suspect used a pry bar to get through the front door, and then he rummaged through a desk. He might have been looking for some keys to open the cabinet that stored the firearms. He didn't find any keys, so he headed straight to the back room, where he then broke the lock on the cabinet. He stole 3 handguns, a rifle, and the lower receiver of an AR-15. You see it sticking out of its box as he exits the business.
Our biggest concern is getting these weapons off the street. We don't know where they are now. We have not identified the suspect, so we've kind of run out of leads at this time, and we'd like to get our hands on those weapons before they fall into the hands of a wrong person.
The surveillance video of him outside is from a neighboring business that he walked by after the burglary. Detectives say he appears to be white. He was wearing a face mask, white shoes, and a jacket over a sweatshirt with the Under Armour logo on it. So if you recognize him, if you know anything at all that can help Kirkland Police recover those firearms, submit an anonymous tip right now through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. You can download it for free, or call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-800-222-TIPS. It is anonymous. You will be paid a cash reward of up to $1,000 if your tip leads to his arrest. Tonight, the sister of a missing man is hoping one of you watching right now can help find her brother. Take a look at these photos of 33-year-old Craig Johnson. He was reported missing to the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office on April 13th. His last known address was in Everett, but his sister says he'd been living homeless for a while, and the last time anyone saw Craig was in downtown Seattle at the Residence Inn Hotel on Terry Avenue. That was on April 6th. Detectives say Craig's silver Volkswagen Jetta was involved in a trespass incident in Linwood 5 days later, but Craig wasn't in the car. He was not reported missing until 2 days after that, so his Jetta was not flagged at the time. His sister says Craig had a job working for Instacart leading up to his disappearance. She says Craig has never run off before, and he always kept in touch through Facebook. She's worried that he's hurt or possibly worse. She's hoping, though, for the best.
Just want to let everybody know if someone has any information, please contact 911. He has family out there looking for him. Nieces and nephews that love him a lot. So please help us find him.
Well, hopefully Craig's okay and he sees this and gets in touch with his family. In the meantime, if you know where he is or you have any information where he might be, call 911 or the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. Tonight, the family of a 16-year-old boy gunned down at a house party in Spokane Valley desperately needs somebody to do the right thing, to come forward and tell Spokane Valley Police major crimes detectives anything that can help identify his killer. Owar Opiew was a sophomore at Meade High School. He played on his school's basketball team. That's Owar wearing number 1. On Sunday, February 7th, just after midnight, Owar was shot and killed outside a house party in the 900 block of South Beige Street in Spokane Valley. No one at the party came forward with any information that could help lead to an arrest. Major crimes detectives are asking everyone who lives near the house where Owar was shot to review their home video footage and report any suspicious vehicles or activity between 11 p.m. on February 6th and 1 a.m. on February 7th. You can upload any photos and video through the P3 Tips app. You can download it to your cell phone for free, and you will remain anonymous. So if you know anything at all that can help catch Owar's killer or killers, please submit that information to Crime Stoppers of the Inland Northwest, or you can call their hotline at 1-800-222-TIPS. You never have to give your name, and you will get a cash reward if that information leads to an arrest in his case. Tonight, the search continues for a fugitive accused of stealing the identities of hundreds of victims. Detectives say he's probably living under an assumed name right now, ruining their credit, even committing crimes in their name. Take a look at 42-year-old Jeremiah Lee Wysocki. Everett police are asking for your help to find him. He's wanted on numerous criminal charges right now, including 7 counts of second-degree identity theft and 4 counts of forgery. One of his warrants is from a case in 2019 in which detectives say he had a stolen Range Rover filled with identity theft equipment, people's identities, credit card statements, fake IDs, and fraudulent credit cards.
I've been an officer for 22 years, and during my time as a detective, I've never seen an identity theft lab that is so big with so many victims. And that was just one case and the property that he had in that vehicle.
7 of the fake IDs belong to Cesar Paez. Detectives say Wysocki used Cesar's information but put his own photo on a fake Washington State driver's license. Cesar says he even had his savings stolen, and the financial nightmare continues.
I constantly check on my banking accounts and everything, just to the level of damage this guy had caused, that I live on that fear. I think it's going to live on that fear for the rest of my life.
Jeremiah Wysocki is 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighs 190 pounds. Detectives say he travels frequently from Snohomish County, so keep a lookout for him in King County and in Spokane, where they've also found more victims. Detectives say he travels around, but he's probably in Snohomish County, most likely using identification in other people's names. Call 911 if you spot him. If you can tell Everett police where to find him, Crime Stoppers will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Text your tip through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. Well, tonight, the family of a TSA agent who worked at SeaTac Airport and died in suspicious circumstances in Redmond is upping the cash reward for any help to solve the case. 38-year-old Francis Gaspar was found lying in the middle of Westlake Sammamish Parkway just after midnight on Monday, July 29th of 2019. He was rushed to the hospital where he died the next day. Well, the previous cash reward for information was $2,000, but Gaspar's family has added another $2,000, so you will receive $4,000 cash if you can help Redmond police identify a suspect.
Anybody have a vehicle plate, a suspect, anybody that might have talked about it? Any kind of information could help and put the detectives at least on a trail of someone who might have done this.
Police searched the area for surveillance video, but they didn't find anything. Detectives have no explanation for why Gaspar was killed. So think back again 2 summers ago. If you have any information at all to help Redmond police solve this case, you will remain anonymous. Submit the tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound, and you will get a cash reward of $4,000. You can call 1-800-222-TIPS or text your tip through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. As COVID restrictions start to ease up and the weather continues to get warmer, more and more people are traveling or just taking their family out for dinner. Well, tonight, police are asking you to remember to please lock your windows after a rash of burglaries in one neighborhood. So take a look at this home surveillance video from Newcastle in King County. It shows a man in an old school Sonics hat and Vans old school shoes going door to door. He was claiming he had the wrong house whenever somebody would answer, and then he'd move on. Well, he was seen getting into this and out of this slate gray Infiniti M35 or M45 that was casing the area. Police say a few minutes after he rang the doorbell on this house here, it was burglarized when the thief got in through an unlocked back window. Tonight, the victims say their hearts are broken because he took everything of sentimental value.
It's been a week, but I can tell you that we are still very, we still have a lot of bad feelings.
Jasmine and her husband returned home from dinner on April 10th to find their house in Newcastle ransacked. Precious gold rings, bangles, and necklaces passed down to them stolen.
My father passed away in 2018. 2 rings he had, which I took, were stolen. So now I don't have my father. I don't have any memory of him. It's very hard.
She worries about what could have happened if her kids had been there alone.
The children were in shock. They didn't understand what was happening.
A check of their surveillance camera showed the man police are calling their primary person of interest.
Knocks on the door, nobody answers. He walks away, and then within 3 or 4 minutes, they get an alarm, a sensor in the back of their house that indicates somebody had broken in.
Newcastle Police Chief Jason Houck says this break-in matches several other recent burglaries, but this time they have decent video of the guy going door to door.
What they're doing is just seeing if anybody's home, and then if nobody answers, they find a way to get in.
Police wish that homeowner who answered the door had called 911 and encourage everyone to always call if you see something suspicious. The suspect got out of this Infiniti seen driving around the neighborhood, and police say he wasn't alone. They're asking for your help to identify this woman. She used Jasmine's stolen credit cards at the Coach store in Auburn.
I know it's going to take us a lot of time to get over it, so I do hope something happens and they do get arrested as soon as possible.
So take one more look at the video, and if you recognize either of them, or you know where Newcastle Police can find that 2005 to 2010 slate gray Infiniti M35 or M45, please submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone, or call 1-800-222-TIPS. You will be paid a cash reward of up to $1,000 if you can help catch either of them. Well, another really important capture, and it's all thanks to you. King County Sheriff's detectives arrested Nicholas Sivich on Wednesday. He was at the Larkspur Landing Hotel on Southeast 37th Street in Bellevue. He had a warrant for his arrest for 2 counts of first-degree animal cruelty.
We were fortunate to receive outstanding tip through Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound and Washington's Most Wanted viewers. That tip came in overnight. We had detectives with our criminal warrants unit. They were able to quickly respond out this morning. They set up surveillance on the room in Bellevue, and they waited it out. They knew checkout time was around 12 o'clock, and Mr. Sivich was taken into custody without incident. This is absolutely a win for Washington's Most Wanted, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound, and our community is much safer.
Sivich has been in hiding since that warrant for his arrest was issued in early March. He says he is innocent and that his confession to having sex with 2 dogs, as detailed in the court documents, was coerced. Detectives say they have video of him during the act in which he's naked and seen smiling. Sivich refutes that claim. He told me via text on Tuesday that he planned to show up to court next week. He had hired an attorney, but the Sheriff's Department says that attorney withdrew from the case.
Mr. Sivich was actively communicating with Washington's Most Wanted, making every excuse on why he was or was not going to finally turn himself into the court. We know those excuses were hollow. He never was going to follow through on those. So when those folks don't follow through, well, we'll meet them more than halfway, and that'll be outside the motel room, and we'll get him in custody.
Well, Sivich is being held at the Regional Justice Center on $50,000 bail. His arrest brings the total number of fugitives you've helped catch since we started the show to 1,209. If you want to take another look at all the fugitives we featured tonight, the fugitives wanted right now statewide, and all the surveillance video of suspects that need to be identified, go to our website, catchwmw.com. So that's a look at some of the cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted. I hope you'll join me for the rest of them tonight at 11 on Q13 Fox, tomorrow night at 9:30 on Joe TV, and again at 10:30 on Q13 Fox. It also airs on our Fox TV station partners in Spokane, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. Together, let's make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.